Jamaica is my country, and I'm proud of it. And proud am I of her noble sons, many of whom have achieved worldwide fame and recognition. Our artisans, too, have gained the finest reputation, both at home and abroad. But these achievements can only be upheld and development continued if everyone is prepared and able at all times to give of his or her best. This giving of one's best depends to a great extent on the mental and physical fitness of the individual. It is in the field of health, however, that lies one of the greatest threats to the island's future prosperity. The diseases that are gnawing at the vitals of the population are many. Among them are the venereal diseases which are taking a mighty toll of human health. Every year, large numbers of persons attend the clinics for proper treatment. Of these, hundreds are cured, but venereal diseases persist and spread because of the promiscuous sex relations of those who refuse to keep up treatment until they are cured, of those who are not even conscious that they have VD, and of those who know they are affected but foolishly prefer to treat themselves. I will tell you a story of two brothers, Joseph and Charlie. Joseph was the taller of the two, and Charlie his younger brother. Joseph was the wayward and easygoing type. His approach to life was, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Charlie was just the opposite. They lived not far from my home. In fact, they were my neighbors.
Hello, Dad. Howdy, boys. Mary. Glass of water, please.
They had lost their mother a few years before. She died from heart failure. Their father was blind. When his eyes were getting bad, the doctor told him that it was caused by syphilis in his blood, but he spurned the doctor's advice to have a course of injections. Instead, he took bush medicine and bitters for his bad blood, as he called it. His eyes became steadily worse until he was totally blind. That afternoon, Joe and Charles paid one of their regular visits to the post office, for they were expecting call cards in connection with the recruitment of farm workers for the United States of America. Sure enough, the cards came. They each were instructed to report at the Labor Department next day for an interview and medical test. Next morning, they journeyed to the city and joined the many who were called up and were subjected to the usual rigid tests. The doctors were quite satisfied with the condition of their eyes, throat, teeth, heart, lungs, nerves, and blood pressure. But were uncertain of the state of their blood, so tests were made. Their joy at being called up, however, was short-lived, as the next day brought them sad news. They had both failed. Syphilis, one of the most dangerous of the venereal diseases, was discovered in their blood. Charlie was grieved, but to Joseph it was all nonsense. There must have been a mistake somewhere, for he was sure he felt healthy and strong. Charlie lost no time. He paid a visit to the local clinic, for he would take no chances with a disease that threatened to ruin his health and to destroy his hopes for success. He was at first nervous and reluctant to disclose that he wanted treatment for venereal disease. The doctor soon dispelled his fears, however, and gave him confidence and assurance. So Charles began a course of injections that would cure him of syphilis. Joe felt that a visit to the clinic was unnecessary. He preferred to forget the whole issue in a few drinks with his friends. On his way home, Joseph met Charles returning from the doctor. Charles tried to encourage him to take the doctor's treatment.
Now listen, Joe, you must be sensible. The doctor told me that syphilis was the cause of mother's untimely death and father's blindness too. Sooner or later, it's bound to affect us. We could become paralyzed, insane. Or deaf. Like us, our children will be affected. Baby is dead. Come with me to the doctor. The sooner the better, Joseph.
Go away. Leave me alone.
From then on, their lives went opposite ways. Charles persevered with his course of treatment, while Joe continued his reckless living. The local dance hall was one of the places Joe usually spent his Saturday nights. On this occasion, he was accompanied by his special girlfriend.
Darling, it's so nice to be near you. But this type of life is disgusting. Let's get married, have a home, and children.
Children? Children? No, no, never.
Fill her up. Well then, if that's how you like it. May I have a light, please?
Certainly.
Once again, Joseph made another false step. A few days later, Joe noticed signs of having caught gonorrhea. So, in addition to the syphilis he had inherited from his parents, he became a victim of another of the venereal diseases. In desperation, he had no alternative but to hurry to the clinic. Joe was obviously embarrassed and ashamed when he saw Charles at the clinic. Charles, too, was surprised at his brother's sudden appearance and peculiar behavior. "What's the matter, Joe?" he said. But Joe was too distressed to reply. Joseph had received one injection, and the symptoms of his gonorrhea disappeared. So he did not bother to return to the doctor for a final checkup. He thought all was well. It was not long after, however, that Joseph began complaining of not feeling his usual self. His joints ached and his eyes grew dark, some of the unmistakable effects of his uncured venereal diseases. In spite of all his efforts in using home remedies, he got steadily worse.
I'm okay. I'm going to the States.
Quickly, Charlie burst the exciting news. The doctor was so pleased with his perseverance and rapid response to treatment that he had recommended Charles for another farm worker's ticket. Ticket and certificate had both arrived. Charlie was at last bound for the USA. Already he had begun to reap the fruits of his victory over venereal disease. Joseph, though sick and ailing, was at the airport to see him off. For Charlie, it was mixed joy and sorrow. But for Joe, there was no joy, only sorrow. Heartbroken, friendless, and forlorn, Joe returned home.
Am I going blind? I'm blind. I'm blind, Papa.
What's the matter, son?
I'm blind. I'm blind, Papa. Like you.
Never mind, son. God will help you.
Oh, Charlie. Charlie, if I had only listened to you. Where is Mary?
I have sent her to the market.
Leave me alone, Papa. Pray for me.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Joseph! Joseph! Joseph, my son, is dead. Why did you do it, son? Why did you do it? The sins of the father shall be visited on the children, even unto the third and fourth generation.
Well, this is the end of my story. But let me give you a final word of advice. Venereal disease is a national problem because it is retarding the development of the country. You can help to wipe out this menace in the following ways. If you have been in contact with any venereal disease, have yourself tested right away. Delay is dangerous. Remember, only a qualified medical practitioner can successfully cure these dreaded diseases. There is absolutely no other way. If you are being treated, continue treatment until the doctor says you are cured. Beware of promiscuous sex relations. You cannot tell by the looks of a man or woman whether he or she has a venereal disease. And finally, this above all, venereal disease is no respecter of persons. It can happen to you.